On today's episode, we're working on our painless wiring.
Yeah!
Yay!
Alright, going through the instructions. Pretty thick. Figuring out which wires I want to pull out of the harness. So yeah, I'm going to get rid of these two green wires. They're for a dual tank setup. Also going to get rid of, I think this is a tack signal. The Turbo 400 kickdown cable, or kickdown power. Alright, I picked up a driver's side battery tray. I think I'm going to keep the main battery on the driver's side. I'm going to put the fuse block off the side of it. I'm going to run the wires along this way and then up and over to the alternator. And then I'll keep the back of the firewall clear. I guess if I was running the battery on that side, I would have kept the fuse block over there. I think it'll just look cleaner. I might try to jam the wheel well in so I know where I'm going to run the wires. I have to trim the shock section out, but it's in. The wires look pretty good. I'll probably stuff it back a little bit. This way I got some extra. We got some nice ground cables that are labeled. This is the ground wires for the headlights. So it says, look, chassis ground, right? So we got to put this clip on, this ring terminal. I have to strip the casing back a little bit, and we're going to crimp that on. And we're going to heat shrink, put heat shrink tubing on there, and make a nice connection. Okay?
All right.
Okay.
Copper.
Yeah.
Copper wire.
Right,
It looks
so,
like there's pure copper inside.
yeah. Copper back a little bit, and then it crushes it down.
Can I see?
See it?
Wow.
Look how tight it is. See it melting?
Yeah.
Is that cool or what?
It's cool.
It makes a nice connection, and it keeps water out. Alright, I got these driver's side headlights wired up. I'm going to work on the turn signals and marker lights. Alright, got the turn signal plug wired up. Got a little extra wire that I'll wrap up in the loom. Passenger side is done. I have this activation wire for a fan relay. I'm going to save that. I'll tuck that in because I think I might do an electric fan transcooler. I got the ignition switch wires to plug in and neutral safety. Also have reverse light power. What's this stuff? Yeah, these are the turn signals. Alright, I feel like I buttoned up the wiring for the steering column. Pretty nice. Put the loom around it because it's a little sharp here. I want to cut into the wires. And it's tight up there for the ignition wires. But now I need to make a bracket that holds the Dakota Digital control box. So I had to make a bracket for the Dakota Digital control box. This is on another truck that I'm building. So I'm going to make two, one for the Blazer and obviously this one. I'm going to bolt it to here. I already located a mounting spot there. And then, okay, that's what we got. I like it. I'm not sure if I want to paint it or keep it raw, but I have to make the other one. Picked up this different ECU mount so it won't ground itself out on the body. We'll see how this installs. I'll swap that out now. Alright, it's in. Okay. Blue. Oh! Probably tack that on, TIG weld it. I'll just tack it for now, I'm not sure. I'll have a connection going from here to here, and then my alternator wires going that way, loop around. Should look good, nice and clean. Alright, 2 good connections. Yeah. I'm gonna wire this up. You need this special connector. So next on the list is this coil power, number 920. They say you can run this to your ignition for your standalone harness. So right now the wire is running through the bulkhead into the engine bay. I'm going to see if I can eliminate this wire from the bulkhead and maybe tap in directly to the fuse box. Alright, here's my ignition wire to feed my standalone harness. And you can see that. Right there is my coil wire that I'm going to pull out of here and then connect that directly. It'll still go through the fuse, 30 amp fuse, but it'll be inside the cab and a lot cleaner. Alright, got the coil wire out that fed into the engine bay. So this is what I'll use to splice my ignition switch into. Boink. Alright, seatbelt warning light wires are out. Alright, the alternator regulator wire to the instrument panel is deleted. Don't need that. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do with the fuel pump wire that I have running through that grommet right now, I think I'm going to have it run through the fuse block and out the bulkhead out to the engine bay. I think that'll be a lot cleaner. There's plenty of ports on the side to run one. So I went to pull out the temp gauge wire and it's doubled up and it goes up into the steering column. I'm not sure why. I'm just going to leave it. I'll tuck it back in the harness. And then I was going to pull the oil pressure wire. I think I'm just going to tuck that in the harness. And that's it. I can start wiring up my Dakota Digital control box. Decent amount of wires we removed out of the harness that I won't need. Did we get the fuel pump wires wired up?
Yeah.
Yeah? You like where they're at?
Yeah.
Now I have to run them to the gas tank.
Okay.
You gonna help me?
Uh-huh.
All right. All right, most of my gauges are going to come off this BIM interface for the OBD2. So there's a little cable that connects to my OBD, but I'm going to get all my gauges off of that pretty much, except for fuel. So it's going to be pretty easy. And I just got done setting it up on a crew cab build. So I want to do this now while it's fresh in my mind. Alright, so we got the tach, we got the ignition and constant. Now I need to figure out my ground. These are the brake warning lights. There's two of them. One for the proportioning valve and one for the emergency brake. They both go into this brake connection. So I'll snip these. So yeah, the light wire will go to the dim plus. Alright, engine is for your check engine light, but I have on my SpearTech harness a little red indicator. So I'll probably just leave it like that. I don't need it on the dash, you know? Who wants to see a check engine light on the dash? Alright, pretty much wired up right now. I'm going to charge the battery and then test it out, test the gauges out. Alright, taped up the harness for the power windows and locks, and also taped up the harness for the rear glass power window. So I'm just getting these lined up where I want them. I'm going to plug them in before we test out the system. The power windows and door locks just plug into the fuse block like that. And then there's the ground wire right here. And then the connections over top of the brake, emergency brake. All right, buddy. Turn the key. See what happens.
Which way?
That way.
This way?
That way. Hold on. Let's see. What do you got? Push this in and turn. Whoa! We got gauges. That's it. Now let's see. You got a window?
That's oil, says oil.
Yeah. Oil. What color do you like?
I like the blue. And the green.
Green's cool.
I like the green.
Blue's cool.
I like blue. It's like a purple screw.
I like white.
Me too. I like white.
That's nice too.
That's the type of blue I was talking about.
Oh.
Teal.
Teal. All right, cleaned up the harness for the window, the rear window. This Tessa tape, man, comes out so nice. Looks factory. Yeah, I'm gonna run it all the stock routing up and over the frame on the outside of the frame, away from the exhaust, and then it jumps back over to the inside of the frame once you get in the back. It should be good. All right, got my weather pack connection to my fuel pump, looking prime. I have my sending unit fuel gauge hooked up. I'm gonna loom this up nice. Got my ground cables connected to the frame. I climbed up there and checked. And I have a full tank. All right, we're gonna put a 4-pole weather pack connection right here. So if I want to lift the body off the truck, I can just disconnect it right here. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Also got the sockets, the light sockets crimped and heat shrinked in. So tools that make life easy. Look at that. Oh. Oh my goodness. So smooth. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's loomed. Everything looking good. I'll plug some things in and call it a night. Alright, so what I want to try is see if the fuel pump turns on. Okay, we got park. Sounds like the fuel pump's on. And I get some kind of check engine light. It's flashing. Oh, neutral. Park, neutral. Oh, yeah. Reverse or neutral? Okay. The check engine's probably my throttle pedal is not plugged in. All right, we're going to end it here for this week. Thanks for watching.